In this video, I take you through a step-by-step process of creating an academic resume. We are going to show you the before of a resume and the after of a resume. Stay with me throughout this video and I bet your resume is going to change. This is Excel with Emmy. On this channel, we talk about career, education, lifestyle. If these are subjects that are of interest to you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on notification for this channel. Please share the link, comment, like. Thank you so much for staying with me and thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel where education meets adventure and passions are transformed into lifelong person. Excel with Emmy. Hi, Mr. Bright. Thank you for honoring our invitation. So you own this session. I'm going to leave everything to you and then you take us through what we are doing today.
Hello, Emilia. Thanks for having me, and hello to your audience too. I'm very honored to be here to talk about the resume review. And we all know that in the school application process, the resume is one of the key documents because you are not there to tell the admission committee about yourself. The resume does that for you. So it's a key important document we need to take seriously when applying. I know most people already have a nice resume, but then if we can do something to make it better, then why not? So quickly, I would like to share a resume I had from somebody with your audience so they see like how people's resume normally are and you see if such a resume will be able to get somebody admission. So today we are going to go through a typical resume, like when it's not refined. Then we try to refine that resume till we get a very good or refined resume. Here, as you can see, I'm already sharing a resume. I have not added nor removed anything from the resume except the person's vital informations. Yeah, so let's go through this resume quickly and see if you would have admitted the person if you were part of the admission committee. Everything here is as the person sent it to me. So the person wrote his name over here, which of course I've taken off. And also the person wrote this exactly this, the curriculum vitae or resume. Then the person came and provided his contact information, his name, his address, and he provided his LinkedIn information as this. Then he went on to write something about himself, I think. Yeah, and he wrote it over here. Then he went on to mention something about his education. Of course, we all need our education on our resume. Then the person went on to state his work experience this way. We will go through this each of this and justify why it's good or it's not good. Then the person then went on to write something about his volunteering activities and community services. And the person wrote some awards. Then the person came to write his competency and professional skills. And finally, he wrote about his research interest. And he wrote a declaration. So if you, any of you watching this video, were to be in the admission committee, will you admit somebody with this kind of resume? Obviously, the answer is no. If I were to be part of the admission committee, I wouldn't admit anybody with this kind of resume. The reason being that one, the resume is not even organized very well. It doesn't give better information. It doesn't state any research the person has done. From the person, he told me he was bounced. He wasn't admitted when he first presented his resume. So it's going to be you a nice work to change this resume to a very nice looking resume which has good contents. So now let's go through why this resume is not fit. One, the person doesn't need to put this resume there. The person just only have to write his name. So maybe you write your name, Emilia Otu, over here. For your address, you can just save spaces and write it at the top. I don't think the person works at Department of Mathematics, so there wasn't the need to bring that over there. And for the LinkedIn, you can just make this a link and put it over there. It's going to be short. Once you click on it, to send you to the page. You don't necessarily have to copy the whole link and put it there. Now, when it comes to the profile or the summary of the resume, here the person, of course, stated some good things about himself and the kind of things he likes. But at the end of the day, you have to state what you are looking for. He only stated he's passionate about using his expertise to help others, and he's excited to continue on exploring the field of mathematics. So you could have stated, "Oh, I'm highly looking for a graduate assistantship role in any department of so and so," or "I'm looking to pursue so and so." Yeah. And for the education, I think when you're applying to graduate school, for the SHS, you can bring it if you want to. But for the junior high school, I don't think it's necessary. And for the work experience, he just stated it, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Research Group member, Department of Mathematics. He didn't state any specific thing he was doing. He didn't state any specific skills he got over there. So you can see all these are hollow. There's nothing better in here. And if you type Abraham South constituency, he said he was an agent during the compilation of new voters register. And so what should you do with that information? What did you learn from that? So we don't have any tangible thing to take away from this. So technically, the person doesn't have any work experience to do if we want to admit the person. Now, volunteering experience and community service. You should know that this is who you are applying to. In as much as they care about your volunteering experiences, that they are not going to fully based on volunteering experiences and give you the admission. No. They need tangible things, your researches, yes, and your skills. So he said, okay, conducted cleanliness campaign provided. So all these things can come later on in the resume. They are not needed over here. And the awards too, they are not needed over here. Now, the competence and professional skills should come somewhere in the resume. This is good to put in your resume, but you should know where to put it and how to position it. It's very key.
Okay, so I also want to say that you have to treat your resume as though every word on your resume matters, right? Like the Efija Cabre thing that the person brought in the resume was kind of irrelevant to what you are using the resume for at the moment, which is grad school application. So it did not matter. So whatever you put on your resume should count. And he wrote a lot of things, 2 pages, but there are resumes that are 1 page that are very good. So let's take note of that.
Yeah, thank you for that point. Yes. I remember when I was doing a resume review with resume expert, he told me that every line on a resume is worth $1 million. So for every single line, you should know what you are writing. This is 3 pages, but there is nothing significant to show. So the person then came to state his research interest and declaration, which is not needed. So now we are going to build this resume pack, make it very nice for it to look like something like this. So I helped this person build the resume back, and I can see the resume is just 1 page, but the resume is densely packed. It
Um,
has,
a quick question: is it the resume we saw before?
yes, so that's the resume.
Wow.
That's the same resume we saw. We just transformed the resume. We added the relevant stuff to it. So now, as you can see, the person's name is at the top, which I've cancelled out, and his email and his number. Then his LinkedIn is over here, but now it's not a long link. It's just LinkedIn written, which when you click on it, it should send you to the person's LinkedIn page. And he has objectives of the resume. Yes. And as I said earlier on, at the end of the objective, you should say what you are looking for. So here, after helping the person, we came into the conclusion that we were seeking to gain a graduate research position in a renowned institution. So at the end of the day, when you write your objective, you should add what you are looking for. If it's a job, state it that you are looking for a position in a prestigious company. If it's a graduate position you are searching, then you put it over there. So that is how it works. Now, the education, which took like 4 5 pages over here, we just summarize it simple here, where we only added the KNUST because that's the most relevant one. We stated the year and we stated the class of the person. Then we then came to the technical skills of the person. So here we are talking about skills the person is proficient in. So if you say you are proficient in something, it means when we wake you up from sleep, you should be able to do it, or you should be able to tell us. So this guy, after doing the resume, said when you wake him up, he can code in Python, MATLAB, and SPSS. Yeah, and he's good at Microsoft Suite. And he's also saying, oh, maybe the MATLAB and Python is not so good. So he has been exposed to some aspects of them, and he can do design thinking a little bit, and he has a little bit of leadership and collaboration inside him. Then we came to his researches. This is where it's very important because if you are going to give you admission in any school, we are going to look at the researches you've done in the past and if they align with what we are doing in the school before we can give you the admission. So here a lot of students don't normally know what to write. And I believe everybody who is applying to graduate school one might have completed his undergraduate and would have already done some thesis or written some thesis. So this is the part you put the thesis. It's one of the main parts where you put the thesis. Two, you go on to put other works you've done, other projects you've done. Here, when I talk to most students from Ghana, they normally don't know the projects they've done. But the fact is that when we were in school, we've done a lot of projects, just that we didn't know how to put on our resume. We didn't know it's very essential to our resume. All the group works you've done, they are all projects, but just that we don't know how to put it on our resume. So before building your resume, you can go back, think of all the group works you've participated in, and see if they are relevant to the course you want to apply to. Then you list them down. Then later on, you come and put them in your resume. One, for the projects, get at least 3 projects from school. The projects you've worked on, most of them are group works. Some of them too are individual projects. You get them, you write them down, the things you learned from it, the technical things, and also get your thesis. Those are the very important things you put at where your project is. Then you also have your professional experience. Normally, after undergraduate, we don't have a lot of experiences, but we might have taught somebody. So you can say you were a tutor, you tutored somebody. And also, when you did your national service or your NYC, how it's called in Nigeria, you can also put it there as your professional experience. And some people from KNSC normally find themselves doing TA. That's a very good thing to put on the resume because at the end of the day, you are seeking a graduate assistantship position or a teaching assistantship position to waive some of your fees. And in that case, you are going to teach people or help people understand some topics. So it's very essential to put on the resume that you were either a teaching assistant or a research assistant because that is where you are going to get your funding from. From there, you come and put some small extracurricular activities down there. Then you
Okay.
are done.
So most of the time when it comes to the professional experience, when people write that they are teaching or research assistant, they put into brackets national service. Kindly take note that when you are applying to a school abroad, they don't know what national service is. It all counts as your professional experience. So do well to take the word national service or NYSSC or whatever is called in Nigeria from the resume. Just make it your professional experience. If you have done a group work in school, do not put there that you were a group member. You can say maybe you were a team lead or whatever project analyst, supply chain analyst for that project, and then put it there accordingly so that it exhibits what you have done and kind of remove the setting in which you did it.
The school we are applying for, the people don't know a lot of things about us. So it will be good to put things that the people will understand when they are reviewing your application. That is a very important point. Now we are going to try to build this resume ourselves. So I'm going to just grab a copy of empty resume, then we all do it together. Maybe we can rebuild this resume together. And in this process, I'm going to teach you some things. I'm going to share some resources with you that you can use to build your resume. So let's begin. We are going to build probably one of the resumes from scratch up to some point, to the research point. And after that, I think everybody should be able to design their resume to build it up. And for most of the schools, they like their resumes to be 1 page maximum. So when you are building the resume, keep in mind that you have just one page to build your resume. So that is what we are going to do. We are going to transform the old resume I showed you into a very nice resume. Okay, we are going to do that, but we are just going to use this template so that things are easier for us. So we are going to change everything we see here on this screen, but then make it into a new resume from the old one we saw, the person who does the mathematics. So let's assume we are putting the person's name over here. So instead of that curriculum vitae stroke resume that was at the top, we are putting the person's name as XXX, then YYY. So that's the person's name. Then you come down, then we put the person's email over here. So XXX YYY at asc.edu or at knust.edu or at gmail.com. Then we come and put the person's number over here as 22222. Now here, as I was saying, I said you don't need to put the whole LinkedIn over there. Just type LinkedIn. Yeah. So just type LinkedIn and make it a link. So I'm going to show you how to turn something into a link. And you can even just do a quick YouTube and see how to turn something into a link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a website over here. I don't know which website. Let's do
Just search Emilia Ofebia O2.
okay. So this is Emilia's LinkedIn link. So we just copy it. Then we go back to the resume we were editing. So you've just written LinkedIn over here. You highlight it. Then you right click. Then you come down here. There's a link over there. So you paste link. So what should display? The text to display is called LinkedIn. Then the link to that website, you paste it here in this box. www.linkedin-emilia02 and you press OK. So now this thing is now a link. So if we click on it, if I save this as a PDF and I click on it, it should be able to send me to Emilia's LinkedIn page. But to be able to do that in Word, I press Ctrl and I click on it. It should be able to take me to Emilia's LinkedIn page. It will be good to put your LinkedIn on the resume and do it this way than copying this whole link and going there to put on it. And also, before you start building your resume, make sure you have a very good and active LinkedIn page so that you put on it. Because these lecturers and professors, once you give them your resume and they see the LinkedIn link, they just click on it, try to see what you share over there, the kind of things you post over there before even going for it to read your application. So when they open and they see you very active, posting things related to their field, then they become excited. So now, so the objective should talk about you. Sell yourself to them. Tell them in 3 or 4 sentences what you believe in and what you want. So that's what we are going to do for that guy. And that guy reads mathematics. So his objective should be centered around mathematics and the kind of things he believes in. So one, you tell them what you are currently doing or what you've done. So if you are a graduate, tell them, oh, you just graduated with so and so, and you believe in this and this, and this is what you want. So this is what we came up with for the guy. Let me paste it over here. Keep in mind that you are selling yourself. Okay. So a computation and applied math graduate with a second class upper honors degree. Then you tell them what you are passionate about. Who is passionate about health risk assessment and management using predictive analysis, advanced data analysis, and time series model to drive actionable insights and optimize decision making. Then you tell them the kind of things. Okay, I'm diligent. I work on time. I'm a team player. Diligent, thorough, tenacious, both as an individual and as a team player. So you see the kind of good things you are saying about yourself. Now, what are we seeking? Actively seeking to gain a graduate research position in a renowned institution where I can seek a new challenge and exercise the knowledge and skills I've developed over the years and hone my knowledge in maths or mathematics. So Have you seen how we just transformed it from this resume, which is virtually empty, highly skilled mathematics with bachelor's degree in what? I have a background in calculus. So here you can see he's not saying anything. Okay, you have a background in calculus.
And he had already repeated this. Your education had already come under the education section.
Yeah,
Calculus and math lab were under the technical skills. So he literally repeated what was in the resume already. And
exactly.
we have made a point that every word counts. So you don't want to repeat the two words the same
No.
time.
We now go to the education. In starting from our highest degree or the current one there. Let me paste that one there, what we have currently. So simple. You just pasted there. As simple as that. He completed a BSc in mathematics in KNS and he stated his grade point. Let's compare it with the previous thing. The previous one. Look at this. Look at how clumsy it is. It doesn't even look nice on the paper. And all these ones are not relevant. They're irrelevant. Okay, you can put a senior high on it, but then it doesn't change anything. To make sure you keep the resume compact. Yeah. So that's what we've done. Now, the proficiency in the technical skills, as I've already said, the proficiency in are skills that when you are sleeping and they wake you up, you should be able to do them. So if you know you cannot do the skills, don't put it at the proficiency. If you know you only know something small about it, just put it at exposed to. So now we come to the most important aspect of the resume. If you are using the resume to apply for schools, then we need to be very critical when we are writing the research part because the research is where the professors are going to look at and grant us the admission. So for the research, as I said, your first research should be your thesis, which you did in undergraduate. That is very important because if you didn't even do well in your thesis, how are you then going to complete the graduate school? So when I sat down with this guy, we came up with these points for his thesis. So for his thesis, he did something related to Fourier series to determine some protein and amino acid combinations. He said he used predictive modeling for healthcare risk assessment. What particular thing did he do? He said he designed and executed predictive modeling frameworks to assess healthcare risk, concentrating on intricate conditions such as diabetes, asthma, heart diseases. And in doing that, he skillfully harnessed the power of predictive analysis to discern high risk patients. Here, I can tell you that there is a pattern, and I'm going to show you. So, whenever we are writing our researches and let's say our professional skills in the resume, we should make sure that we are using action words. And what are these action words? These action words are verbs that show that we did something. So, typical example of this action word is one, he designed and he executed. He assesses. So that's also an action word. So when we are writing our research skills, we should make sure that we have a lot of action words in there. Let's go to the second one. Data analysis interpretation. Skilled in data analysis interpretation, specifically in the context of Fourier series analysis. Successfully applied Fourier series. So one, he said he's skilled. It's an action. Then what did he do? He applied something, which is also an action word. So when you add these action words to your resume, it makes the resume very rich, showing that you did something. So when we come to the next point, he said he applied. So the best thing to do is you can copy the whole of your thesis, okay, and put it in ChatGPT. You give ChatGPT a command that it should give you points for resume, which are technical. Maybe you can list 4 or 5 points. Then ChatGPT will then spill out the points. Then you take them because it's going to summarize your resume. Then you take those points. Then you put these action words in there. Then you see that, oh, okay, you couldn't summarize the thing, but then ChatGPT did it for you, and you twisted it by adding these action words to make your resume very rich.
I want to say that in the research, you can see for the first point, you can clearly see the STAR method. So the STAR method is something you cannot eliminate when you are creating a resume. So the STAR method, the situation, the task, the action, and the results. What was he doing? Predictive modeling for healthcare risk assessment becomes his situation. And then he designed and executed. So that was the task. They were supposed to design something. When he did it, what did he do? The result was that he has skillfully harnessed the power of predictive analysis. So you want to make sure that whatever you did is exhibiting the star. Once you are able to do that, every point becomes very meaningful, and then it exhibits like what you have done in the past as well as what you are able to do in the present. Also talking about the action words, I've mentioned on my channel before that AI and then artificial intelligence is used to set certain websites that scan a resume when you apply for a job or you send it to a professor. So when these action words are found in your resume, the AI is giving a command that find some words. Once the AI find these words, it becomes like it picks your resume, right? So you want to include them in your resume.
These are the action words you want to start every sentence in your resume with. Yeah, I've zoomed in. So, matching your skills to what an employer is looking for is the best way to catch their attention. This is when you're applying for job. Use this action verb to help you describe your educational and employment experience. Ensure that you identify the ways that best match your background and job description. By here, you're applying for school. So make sure you use the words that best matches your background, what you completed, and what you are looking for. So if you're talking about something related to communication skills, you can use these action verbs, action verbs. You addressed something, you advertised, you arranged, you articulated. You understand? It's better to use this action word than I've seen a lot of resumes there like I helped, I helped, I helped. You can't use helped throughout. No. It would be good if you use this kind of word you were involved in. You understand? You negotiated. If you are talking about communication skills, you moderated. I help. So let's say you want to say, okay, I help 50 students um, to probably learn some skills. So I moderated a group of students, or I moderated a session where the students were taught through A, B, C, and D. Or yes, so you can put these action words in your resume and it makes your resume looks dense. Research skills. This is where it's very important because we as students we are going to be hired by the school to be doing research for them. So you compiled, you conducted, you analyzed, you detected some what? Some outliers in the data. You detected the mean. You differentiated. You hypothesized. You see, you mediated. So this and you quickly scanned through the data. Scanned. It's over here. So these are the words you want to be using in your resume. You synthesized the protein. So these are the words you want to be using in your resume. I'm sure Emilia can send. If you just Google action verbs, you see this on Google. So it's a public knowledge. You can just get it from there and you use it. Now let's compare it to the old resume. The old resume, we don't even see anything about research. You see? But now, with the new resume we are building over here, yes, taking just his thesis alone, we are and using AI. So we subjected his thesis to what? ChatGPT and said, oh, chat, give us 4 or 5 points for resume. Then you see that after doing that, chat will give you. Then you then come and just take these action words and put them in. Then you see that oh, you have a very nice resume you are building. From there, you then take a group work or a project you took in school. Then you repeat the same process. Then you see that okay, you've gotten what a second research you put in your resume. Know that when the professor wants to work with you and he invites you for an interview, he's going to ask you about the things in the resume. So those group works and things should be things you participated in and things you did. So you can talk about them. Yes. So I hope Once you're able to do this action word uh, exercise, you can then write it for what? All your researches and also for your work experience. So now you are doing the work experience aspect. The work experience, you can still go and use ChatGPT. Then, but then later on, you know that you are not just copying everything ChatGPT gives you. No, you come back, you put the action words in it, you make sure it sounds nice, you make sure it's the exact thing you did. When you get an interview, you can defend yourself, you can explain it. So now, he said he was a teaching assistant at PNUST. So he what? Let's see if he used the action words. Effectively instructed. You see, he just didn't say he taught. He instructed students in complex mathematics topics, including differential equation, complex numbers, complex analysis. Let's compare it to what he had in the old resume. Research group member, Department of Mathematics, conducted research and data collection. You see, this compare this to what we have in the new one we are building. You can see that the new one is is enriched. And if they give you these two resumes, if you are the one making the decision, which one will you give the job to or which one will you give the admission to? Clearly, we know the answer. Yes. Make sure you use these action words in your resume. And I think at the end of the day, you should be able to come up with a very nice resume. And also the next one is what? Extracurricular activities. Then you put the kind of things. Make sure you state that you were in some student organization. For instance, this one is mathematics. So you can say that okay, I was in the mathematics students association organization. And if you held the position, okay, you were the organizing secretary or something. Just put one or two over there. So I think for all we've talked about, if you're able to do all those things and you present your resume, there is no way you should be rejected. So at this point, you should have a very concrete resume you are presenting, right? Yes. So let me just quickly recap all we've done. Make sure your LinkedIn is a link. Put your name there, your telephone number, and have your email. The objective, talk about yourself, say nice things about yourself, what you are doing and what you've currently done, and also state what you are looking for. And for the education, you state your highest first and the current, then don't state irrelevant ones. Then for the skills, what you are proficient in is what you really know how to do. And exposed to, you don't know how to do it that much. So then make sure you add your what? Your projects and researches. So your projects are the group works you've done in school, which you've even forgotten. Sit down, think through it, and remember all those ones. Then make sure you add your thesis and final year project. It's very important. So once you add all those ones, you have the research, then you add your tutor experiences and your professional experiences. Then finally, you just come and add your extracurricular activities. And if you do that, I'm sure your resume will be strong. And once you are done, make sure you align things well. You can see here the alignment. You can see, right? You can see that all the dots are on the same line and I didn't get time to do this well, you would have seen that all the dates would have been aligned well too. So you have to take the indentations very serious and also know how to use this ruler at the top over here. You can use that one to change the dates and everything. And I think once you do that, you should have a very nice resume and hopefully you should be able to get you some admission. Thank you. We'll keep it here. If you have any question, you can leave it under the comment section and I'll come and answer. Or Emilia will get them to me and I'll answer them.
All right, Mr. Bright, thank you so much for this detailed analysis of a resume. We really appreciate, and I hope this is helpful to people out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. All the best and good luck to everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, so that was the end of the video. I'm sure that you have learned a lot, one or two, the STAR method. The action verbs are very necessary. At the end, Bright did mention that you make sure that your words are aligned using the ruler in Word. Make sure that you have done all these resume tips, and then I bet this resume is going to land you the funding that you want, the admission that you want, even the job that you want. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section. Bright will come to answer these questions, and I can also reach out to him. I'll add his LinkedIn profile and email so that you can reach out to him if you want him to review your resume. That is if he has the time. Thank you so much, Bright, for coming. I really appreciate this. Bye.
Bye.